This week on Unscripted, rumors on Daniel Bryan's news on Daniel Bryan and his schedule for WWE going forward. Is he going to be full-time or part-time? Rumors on Hulk Hogan returning and WWE statement on that. And is Roman Reigns still the guy? This and more this week on the future #1 podcast right here on YouTube.com. This is Unscripted. What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we are here for episode 17 or 18 of the Unscripted. We have just got done with another week of Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, and NXT, and of course you can throw 205 Live in there too if you watch that. This was, of course, the go-home week of Backlash, with Backlash, of course, being tomorrow night, which, quite honestly, is a throwaway pay-per-view, just like the Greatest Royal Rumble, which hurt Backlash completely, because it should have been WrestleMania. We finished WrestleMania, and it looked like we were going to build to Backlash when The Miz came out and said, I have a rematch, and I'm going to invoke that rematch at Backlash. So it was like, okay, we're going to build the Backlash, the Greatest Royal Rumble, we don't need to worry about it. But then, of course, that and the Women's Championship matches and Mojo versus Roman Reigns is all that has been built for this show. Then the Superstar Shakeup came. Mojo goes to SmackDown, and The Miz goes to SmackDown, making two of the matches at Backlash pointless. It's predictable that we're going to see Seth Rollins, unless they do something where it's like with the Bar or Chris Jericho last year. If Miz wins, he goes back to Monday Night Raw, which of course still wouldn't make any sense because they had him go to SmackDown. But the simple fact is, it's him and Daniel. Daniel Bryan wanted him on SmackDown, so this just doesn't make any sense why they still do this. They should have had Backlash first, then the Superstar Shakeup, then we have. I would have taken the money, like the big 5 Money in the Bank thing. We could have just said scrap that now. Put Money in the Bank in right before SummerSlam, and put the Greatest Royal Rumble in June. In June, with no pay-per-view, like if no pay-per-view a week before or a week after. No, none of that. But no, we get the Greatest Royal Rumble 3 weeks later, which was a glorified house show. The only thing we got out of that was Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles storyline continuing to feud, and of course we had Roman Reigns, who is still Brock Lesnar's bitch, and is not the rightful Universal Champion. The end of that match did get botched too. Dave Meltzer did report that it was supposed to be. Well, I think it was Pro Wrestling, and it is where I heard it from, but it was supposed to be that Brock was supposed to roll out of the ring and touch first, but if you actually look on further looks of the picture that they show right before the referee said Brock wins, Roman's feet aren't on the floor, he's tangled in the ring skirt, so he wasn't down either. The refs made the call, and Brock Lesnar's still your champion, and then they had the balls to have Chad Patton go on Twitter and say, I apologize, I made a mistake. This is my fault because I fucked up. No, Chad, you did your job. Referee's decision is final. No whining, no complaining. But no. Roman Reigns, had to come out on Monday Night Raw, bitch, whine and moan because he's the real Universal Champion. Then they also had the balls also to have Seth Rollins come out and defend Roman Reigns, saying he's the real Universal Champion, not Brock Lesnar. Whether you like him or not, he is the true Universal Champion. Now, it's kind of pathetic, and we will have news and talk on Roman Reigns later on the show, but it's kind of pathetic that they have Seth Rollins, who is leagues better than Roman Reigns and should be up higher on the totem pole when it comes to being the guy. Not the guy, that should be Braun Strowman, and no fans are butts about it, and we'll talk about that later. But having this guy come out and be like, listen, Roman Reigns is the guy. Roman Reigns it should be the Universal Champion, not Brock Lesnar. WWE doesn't have the balls to put it on Roman Reigns right now, and again, we'll talk about that later. I don't know. Then, of course, the two Women's Championships are absolutely garbage right now. The Raw Women's Championship has been garbage since Alexa Bliss won it back. from Sasha Banks right after, I think it was at SummerSlam or right before, right after SummerSlam, when Sasha Banks won the Women's Championship last year. She should have kept it. None of this, she wins the title at a big event and then loses it on her first defense. That's fucking bullshit. Sasha Banks is by far one of, if not the best woman on the women's roster on the main for right now. Ember Moon can get up there later, Asuka as well. But who has had the best matches? Who has been the opponent? Who has given each one of these women their best matches? Asuka, it was with Sasha Banks. Ruby Riott, Sasha Banks. Bayley, Sasha Banks. Charlotte, Sasha Banks. Becky, if her and Becky could have a match, I'm sure it would probably be Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks makes all these other women look great. Carmella on SmackDown side is a transitional champion, plain and simple. I don't know, like when she won Money in the Bank, it was like, oh, she's improving, she's looking like she deserves, she should have won that. It made sense then. Then they took her out of her normal attire, and because I'm telling you right now, the reason they had her change her attire and get used to wearing that is because they were bringing Liv Morgan to SmackDown. And I've said it before, and it wasn't ever on a podcast because I wasn't doing this yet. But Liv Morgan in NXT was a carbon copy of Carmella in look and attitude. She just looked like they took Carmella, who moved up to the main roster, and said, here you go, Liv Morgan, there's your gimmick. You're going to be Carmella light. Now Carmella's in this freaking onesie that says Mella is money, looking fucking like trashy as fuck. I don't know who thought that was a good attire. Get her out of that fucking onesie singlet. It is ugly as hell. She is becoming the female equivalent to Del Falk, who got fired for rape allegations. And that's not a good comparison. She sucks on the mic. She sucks in the ring. She has not improved. She has become complacent. She has become lazy as fuck in the ring. And she has become terrible. Get that title off of her. Put it back on Charlotte. Build towards Charlotte versus Asuka at SummerSlam. Charlotte wins it here at Backlash, as I said on the preview predictions, which is on the channel right now. Go check it out. She wins there. Becky gets the title shot first at Money in the Bank or the pay-per-view or Extreme Rules, and you build towards Asuka and Charlotte too at SummerSlam, with Asuka winning that one and taking the title. So you can eventually build to Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey, with Charlotte winning the Women's Royal Rumble. The women's side on WWE's Raw side, I'm sorry. Alexa Bliss is overrated. Alexa Bliss is fucking pathetic and terrible in this. Oh, I'm not a bully. Nia Jax is a bully. She took my title. She was double fisting turkey legs at Disney World. She was eating no. This feud is not even about the title. This feud for these two is about total diva bullshit. You want to know why they have this? You want to know why this title match was the feud at WrestleMania and not Sasha Banks versus Bayley? Because they needed footage for Total fucking Divas. Both of these women are on Total Divas. Remember back when Total Divas first started, and every time the Total Divas would come up, and you would have, it would season 1 started, you would have a spat on Total Divas that was taped 6 months ago, and then we would have a match on Raw because of this match comes out because of what happened on Total Divas. We're getting that reversed now. Instead of being they're using this for footage for that show because, well, they need extra footage because John Cena broke up with Nikki Bella, which was supposed to be the fucking season finale of that entire show. So we need something for Total Divas. Let's put the title on Nia Jax while Alexa Bliss cries like a little bitch. That feud I don't care about. Let alone the title feud we should have had going into WrestleMania and we should have now, Bayley and Sasha Banks. Put on the back burner. Bayley's going to be in the kickoff show. That was in my news to notes, but I got to throw it out right now. Bayley is going to be in the kickoff show against who else? Ruby Riott. Kill the Riott Squad. I know why they killed. There's 2 reasons they killed Absolution to anybody who wants to know. 1, Paige is hurt and is also is the SmackDown GM, and 2, we have the Iconics to be the overbearing and annoying tag team for women on SmackDown Live, and they're both heels. So that's the 2 reasons they broke that team up. Plain and simple. I don't need to read no news article. That's why. The Iconics are awful. I really didn't care so much for them on NXT. I mean, Peyton Royce is a pretty good wrestler. Billie Kay can hold her own. But this shit with close your eyes, Billy. Let me just imitate this person and act like I'm a fucking bitch. I'm acting like a fucking stuck-up bitch. Just is no. Fucking pathetic, fucking stupid, and I can't stand it. Who came up with this? again, WWE, and, oh, you didn't know? I'm a stupid ass fucker. He's the one who comes up with this shit, I guarantee you. Then what happened on SmackDown Live with the biggest babyface? Roderick Strong lights his chest up into hamburger meat at the Greatest Royal Rumble, chopping him up and just destroying his entire chest. They say he's not able to work SmackDown, even though he worked a dark match with Shinsuke Nakamura. So yeah, storyline right there. And then of course, what happens? We have Big Cass come out. I swear this was Hornswoggle, just because he's easy to talk to. He's easy to have in any time. Dressed up with a Yes shirt, a Daniel Bryan-like attire, a beard, and a wig. And he beat him down. This isn't the day of DX. This isn't the day of DX in 2006 when you had the Spirit Squad having shit dropped all over him. This shit is not funny. And the fact that went from Road Dogg and his Road Dogg's on crack, plain and simple. Road Dogg and the entire creative team is on crack, because this shit coming on TV and going through Road Dogg and the creative team in the back, all the way through Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon's like, that's funny, let's put it on TV. That's just sneeze slapping funny. It's not funny anymore. It was hardly funny as it was back in the day. It's not funny. It was, like I said, it was barely funny back when it first happened. It's rehashed, it's embarrassing, and it should not happen again. So, yeah. The only thing going into Backlash this week, which we did talk about yesterday on the channel. If you want to go check that out, go check it out. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment down below, and let me know what you think about Backlash and everything in that system, in that video right there. Then, of course, we have NXT, which was, in my opinion, it wasn't like it wasn't the one that wows you everywhere, but it was a pretty decent show. We had the Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa storyline continued without either one of those guys on TV. It was through Candice LeRae and Cassius Ohno, because Cassius Ohno pretty much threw down the challenge to Tommaso Ciampa, and that's going to happen next week. And then Candice LeRae, who was emotionally unstable, she got beat by Bianca Belair, couldn't get her head into the game. Then, of course, on Twitter, Tommaso Ciampa said, I lived with them for 2 years. I thought she wore the pants in the family, but I guess I was wrong. She's just as weak and pathetic as her husband. Beautiful stuff right there. And I just got that off the top of my head because I didn't write his tweet down, but that's what he said. Tommaso Ciampa is the quintessential perfect heel in WWE. I'm just afraid when he comes up to Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live, when this whole Johnny Gargano feud's done, what are they going to do with him? They're going to ruin him, just like they'll ruin Johnny Gargano, who will probably be stuck on 205 Live. Other than that, there's nothing else that really happened on this week. And, of course, before we go any further, Braun Strowman is stuck right now. WWE they didn't know what to do at WrestleMania, so they gave him a kid as a tag team partner, which was because this is what it all came down to. WWE wanted to get the tag team titles off the bar, but they didn't want to have. They wanted to get the titles off the bar without losing them to any, because they don't really have any tag teams, and of course the Leader of Worlds wasn't a tag team until WrestleMania night, or they didn't form as a tag team until WrestleMania night, so they didn't have that. They couldn't have them just take the titles off of them then. They didn't want the bar to go. They had to have the bar lose the tag team titles before the Superstar Shakeup, which took place before the Greatest Royal Rumble. So they decided, let's have Braun Strowman and a 10-year-old kid, which pretty much kills anytime you hear anybody in WWE. If you know anybody, if you run into anybody in WWE and they ever make a joke about David Arquette again, you have a beautiful comeback. It's like, oh yeah? You guys had a tag team champion. You had a 10-year-old kid as a tag team champion. So what are you making fun of David Arquette for? That guy could take bumps if he needed to. That guy could actually take a punch or two if he needed to. This 10-year-old kid, you can even put one finger on the kid, and he was going to get you were going to get slapped with child abuse lawsuits. So yeah, WWE has just now avoided any jokes about David Arquette winning the World Heavyweight title in WCW with that one move. But they literally did that all to get the titles off of the bar so they could move them over to SmackDown Live in the Superstar Shakeup, because the Raw, SmackDown Women's and Tag Team Champions will not move as long as they have their title. It's just not going to happen. They are designated to those brands. You're not going to move that team as long as they have them. They were fucked because they were like, oh shit, we have no legitimate tag teams on Monday Night Raw to take the titles off of the bar. So we need to grab somebody like, oh, we'll just use Braun Strowman. He's not doing anything. And we'll just have him win with a 10-year-old kid. They'll relinquish them next night, and then we'll move the bar over to SmackDown Live. They'll face the Leader of the Worlds at a glorified house show, lose that match, and then they're off to SmackDown. So what have they done with Braun Strowman since? Oh, let's see. They tagged him up they tagged him in a 10-man tag match the night of the Superstar Shakeup with Bobby Lashley and I think Jeff Hardy no, it wasn't Jeff Hardy. Bobby Lashley, Bobby Roode, and two other guys, whichever. Well, one other guy, whatever. And then the week after that, you had Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This past week, you had a 6-man tag match. Add Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal to that. And then we get to freaking Backlash, and you have Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn again. No creativity here. Braun Strowman is worth more than this. Vince McMahon has got to get his head out of Roman Reigns' ass. Stop sucking the Roman Reigns cock. Stop pushing the Roman agenda. There are literally people in the camp of Roman Reigns starting to pull out of the camp. They're starting to turn around and leave Camp Roman Reigns because WWE just keeps doing this shit. I said it last night. I'll say it again. Roman Reigns is treading to Bray Wyatt territory when it comes to his character. He's not believable. He can't back up his words. He can't win a fucking big match to save his life half the time. This guy's entire career is going to end up being like Bray Wyatt before the Woken Warrior, the Leader of Worlds happened. Other than that, that was your week of Monday in WWE. I know it was as crazy. I know I didn't say it all in order and everything, but yeah. So we have Backlash this tomorrow, and we will get in that. We will get into a review and results show tomorrow night after the show. But let's get into the news here. News on Jason Jordan, when he is scheduled to return. PW Insider is reporting that Raw superstar Jason Jordan is lined up for a WWE return very soon. According to their sources, it could be as very soon as this coming Monday. Jason Jordan has been out of the Raw limelight since February due to neck surgery, which is great, and he should be back here soon. Rumor opponents for Jason Jordan coming back are Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship and Chad Gable as a grudge because Chad Gable was left on his own when Jason Jordan was brought over to Monday Night Raw. Honestly, first things first, Jason Jordan needs to turn heel. First night on the show, turn heel and attack Seth Rollins or whoever the Intercontinental Champion is. Money in the Bank or Extreme Rules, he needs to win the Intercontinental title. Jason Jordan is going to be the heel champion who, I would say Money in the Bank is when you want to win the Intercontinental title, so you can have the rematch at a pay-per-view, like at Extreme Rules, have Jason Jordan retain the title in Extreme Rules, and then have him and Chad Gable build up to a match at SummerSlam between those two for the Intercontinental title, with Chad Gable being the babyface and Jason Jordan being the heel. Chad Gable, of course, goes over at SummerSlam, so that's what they can do with Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan, of course, has been out since February, as it says in the article, and it is probably a good thing for his career because he was going absolutely nowhere. I know the rumor going around as with if he didn't get hurt, it would have been Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, but I think if we hold it off until he comes back, that's going to be fine. So Jason Jordan will be back, hopefully, most likely this week, and I can see them starting up a program with him and Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental title, with him eventually winning the Intercontinental title from Seth Rollins to build to a program with him and former tag team partner Chad Gable. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with Jason Jordan, but he will be back most likely on Monday, so look forward to that. Speaking of champions, Jeff Hardy sets a championship record by winning the United States Championship. He is also a two-time Grand Slam champion. He was an original Grand Slam champion, which is the WWE World Tag Team, Intercontinental Europeans, and or Hardcore Championship, Light Heavyweight Championship, which he won every single one of those. This went under the radar when WWE United States Champion Jeff Hardy won the title from Jinder Mahal a few weeks ago. to become the latest Grand Slam champion, but Hardy also set another record, WWE record, with the win. Hardy became the first and only superstar in WWE history to hold the WWE, the World Heavyweight title, the Intercontinental title, the United States title, the World Tag Team titles, the Raw Tag Team titles, or WWE Tag Team titles, whichever one you go with, the European title, the Hardcore title, and the Light Heavyweight Championship. Jeff Hardy is by far the most decorated champion in WWE history when it comes to individual championships. He has won every single championship on the roster except for the original Cruiserweight Championship. Since he's been here in 1995 when he was a jobber, he has won every single title that has been in WWE besides the Universal title, which I'm sure he could probably do if they wanted him to, and the original Cruiserweight Championship because he wasn't on SmackDown, and if they wanted to, they could have had him cut weight and do the same thing his brother did. So, congratulations to Jeff Hardy for pretty much becoming the most decorated champion in WWE history. It's hard to argue with it, but Jeff Hardy is one of the greatest superstars of all time. Him and his brother will be Hall of Famers probably the year after they retire. So, great congratulations again to Jeff Hardy, one of my all-time favorites. Update on Jericho's wrestling future. It looks like Chris Jericho will be working again for New Japan Pro Wrestling in the very near future, according to PW Insider. Despite Jericho's public comments about being finished with the company, he expected to appear at this week's Wrestling Dontaku event in the I can't even say that one. Fukuoka, Japan. Sorry, I'm sorry for that. To stir up the feud that will build towards a match at Dominion on June 9th. Last month, Jericho answered a fan who asked him if he was done with New Japan Pro Wrestling. He said, unfortunately, yes. In January, Jericho was a guest on Busted Open and spoke about his future with New Japan. At the time, he said he wanted more of a Brock Lesnar deal with New Japan to be to the point where fans would say, the guy is barely there. I need to keep the ball rolling, and I don't know. Once again, the Naito thing is pretty interesting thing to me, and don't oversaturate myself. Jericho said, don't join the G1 Climax and just be another guy. I really want to do the Brock Lesnar deal with New Japan. If it works out, pick my spots and come and go to where you like. This guy's barely there, yet when he's there, it makes an impact. And that might have to be the incentive. I just have to reevaluate to see what I can do next wrestling-wise. Jericho's last appearance in New Japan before this weekend was in January at the New Year's Dash when he attacked Tetsuya Naito from behind after LIJ defeated Chaos in a 10-man tag team match. It seems like Jericho would face the newly crowned IWGP Intercontinental Champion next, but it hasn't been confirmed if that's the direction he'll be going in. Before all that went down, Jericho had some verbal spars with Tetsuya Naito when there was a disagreement about if Wrestle Kingdom 12 had a double main event or not. In the show's top two matches, Jericho lost to Kenny Omega, which was match of the year for New Japan. I'm not saying overall because that is clearly Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa or Johnny Gargano versus Andrade Cien Almas. But for New Japan, Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho are going on right now. While Naito lost the IWGP Heavyweight Championship to Kazuchika Okada. Then, of course, if you do live under a rock and you don't pay attention to New Japan, this, of course, I got this stuff before what happened on Friday morning in the United States. Jericho was at the New Japan show, the second night of that event. The LIJ was in a match. I think it was against Chaos or was it against Bullet Club, one of the two. Tetsuya Naito stuck around towards after the match and posed with the fans. He posed in the ring. He was coming back up the ramp. A fan with an LIJ mask on and a hoodie and everything grabbed him, shoved him, pulled him into the barricade, took him out, pretty much beat him down towards the ringside area again, threw him into the ring, took off the mask, and it was Chris Jericho. Hit the guy with the code breaker, hit him with the ring bell, and officially Chris Jericho vs. Tetsuya Naito will be probably happening at Dominion. So anybody who is a Chris Jericho fan, there you go. Speaking of that Chris Jericho Kenny Omega match, I think it's the CEO or the president of Access TV tweeted on Friday night that Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega is the highest rated match on Access TV for New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm not surprised with how great that match was and how much hype it was actually in the United States it actually had. Everybody wanted to see it. I watched it someone actually uploaded it on YouTube that day. I actually was able to review that and the Fatal 4-Way match and the Cody Rhodes and Kota Ibushi match from Wrestle Kingdom 12. find a way to actually do that too, because Naito versus Jericho probably will be a good match. I don't know if they'll be able to top Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho, but they have the work cut out for him, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. But it looks like Tetsuya Naito versus Chris Jericho is coming to Dominion in June. Who's next to challenge AJ Styles if Shinsuke Nakamura is not successful at Backlash? According to the reports from Justin Barrasso on Sports Illustrated, Samoa Joe is speculated to lose against Roman Reigns. I doubt that this Sunday at WWE Backlash, as the company has other plans in mind for him. The Samoan Submission Machine will be moving to feud with AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. Before we say anything else, why would that makes no sense to have him go out and lose to Roman Reigns, who has nothing going for him. If Roman Reigns was the Universal Champion, then it'd be too predictable and Roman Reigns would win, no problem. Roman Reigns has nothing going for him right now. Roman Reigns taking a loss to Samoa Joe will not hurt the big neutered dog. He's neutered in my opinion. Just going to say it right there. He's not just the big dog, he's the big neutered dog. Roman Reigns losing to Samoa Joe would not hurt him any more than him losing to Brock Lesnar 2 times in a month. Having Samoa Joe winning against Roman Reigns would help propel him to actually have a reason to go for the WWE Championship. Having him lose on Sunday and then come on Tuesday and be like, listen, I made a loss, but I'm going for the WWE Championship. Makes no sense. Have Samoa Joe win that match. Have Samoa Joe come out and be like, listen, I said what I was going to do. I don't make idle threats. I want the WWE Championship. AJ, Nakamura, whichever it is, get your ass out here. I want you now. Samoa Joe fans are bracing for themselves in disappointment as the Samoa Submission Machine is nearly as certainly to take the fall in his match with Roman Reigns. I doubt it again. WWE's planning a Joe Styles feud for the WWE title. In parentheses, imagine reading that sentence 5 years ago. Imagine reading that sentence 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And it will be interesting to see what direction the creative move is for Shinsuke Nakamura if he is unable to capture the WWE title from Styles on Sunday. That is the big problem with this entire thing. This is Shinsuke Nakamura's 5th WWE Championship match in a year. Lost at SummerSlam by nefarious means. Lost at Hell in a Cell by nefarious means. Lost at WrestleMania by clean. Lost, there was a double count out at the Greatest Royal Rumble. This is his 5th championship opportunity. If he loses in any shape or form, if he loses this match, what are they going to have for Shinsuke Nakamura? Are we going to team him and Asuka up and have the Japanese duo of Asuka and Shinsuke Nakamura go roughshod over mixed tag teams or something? I don't know. What can they have for him? I could see them like having Gallows and Anderson, which I actually heard JD from New York actually propose this too, because I thought about it after he said it, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like it could be a cool idea, because you have Gallows and Anderson who are really nothing right now. Having them come in and fuck over AJ Styles to help Shinsuke Nakamura win the WWE Championship would be a big thing for those two, and it would give them something to do, and it would also freshen up the AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura match. Now, if that doesn't happen, then it's either this is a no disqualification match, which is just a hardcore match, Extreme Rules, Street Fight, no disqualification match, all the same fucking stipulation, just different names. If Nakamura loses this match clean as a whistle, no interference, no fuck finishes, no nothing, what are they going to do with him? I don't know. It's either they give Nakamura the title for, I don't know how long they want to do that, or he's back of the line and he does nothing until SummerSlam when he challenges Jeff Hardy or whoever it is for the United States Championship, unless they want to keep him lingering around in the WWE Championship picture, which quite honestly, if he doesn't win on Sunday, what can they do to keep him in there? Because if they're going for Styles and Joe, which of course is a great match and of course is fresh for WWE, and it's been a long while since those two have mixed it up in the WWE in a ring, so it will be fun to see what happens with those two. But I don't know what they're going to do with Nakamura. Nakamura is the odd man out if he does not win the WWE Championship on Sunday. I'm hoping he does, just so they can at least say, well, they did it. But it feels like WWE wants to keep the title on AJ Styles. But honestly, for Nakamura Styles, if they didn't put the title on him at WrestleMania, right now, I don't think he's winning it until... He might not ever win it. That's the biggest question. will Shinsuke Nakamura ever win the WWE Championship, or will he be that guy who was from the land of the rising sun, given multiple championship opportunities, and was just never able to get the job done? We'll just have to wait and see. But it looks like we will see Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles coming out of Backlash. And yes, Samoa Joe should beat Roman Reigns. Having him lose to Roman Reigns does him no favors. Plain and simple. WWE has officially signed another indie star, which has been rumored for a good while now. Keith Lee, reportedly heading to WWE after he signed a deal with the company, and he will report to NXT in the near future. I would say Money in the Bank time is when we'll see Keith Lee in the audience. You know, like War Machine, Ricochet, and EC3 did at Philadelphia. Adam Cole, who ran it down, like didn't sit in the audience, but he ran down and beat up on Drew McIntyre at the at TakeOver Brooklyn. I don't remember if anyone was at War Games, but you know what I mean, something like that. I'd see them doing that. It was reporting multiple, PW Insider is reporting, or PW Torch, my bad, is reporting multiple sources confirmed Lee has signed with WWE and he will be finishing up with his independent commitments this month. Lee will make his final appearance for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla on May 25th at the Bask in His Glory event, and also has 2 scheduled appearances for Evolve on May 19th and 20th. Lee's WWE arrival has been speculated earlier in the day due to PWG announcing Lee's goodbye appearance. He had been rumored to have signed a deal in February, but he denied those reports. As I just stated, I expect, if this is all true, and it seems to be, Keith Lee will be in the audience and shown on TV, on NXT TV, for TakeOver Chicago. It's just how WWE, it's just how Triple H likes to do it for most of the guys. I mean, they did change it up for Adam Cole by having Adam Cole run down and attack Drew McIntyre with Red Dragon to make the Undisputed Era become a thing. So, Keith Lee, if you're looking out in the audience and they start doing the whole panning thing like they like to do, they like to show off legends and superstars that are there, Keith Lee is going to be one of those. So, I've only seen one Keith Lee match, and that was a U.S. qualifier for the World Cup last year for What Culture Pro Wrestling, back when it was still What Culture Pro Wrestling. And him and Ricochet put on one hell of a match, especially for the size difference. Ricochet sold for him and made him look like $1 million. So it should be interesting to see what happens with Keith Lee. That guy, that's a big boy. That's a big boy, and I could see him and Lars Sullivan like having a match like Lars Sullivan and Killian Dane had a couple weeks ago on NXT TV, and he could probably dominate and be a future North American champion. AJ Styles says Daniel Bryan's return reminds him of a certain Hall of Famer. AJ Styles recently spoke to Sam Roberts on the Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast. Styles spoke about his number of topics, including Daniel Bryan's return. Styles said he personally didn't think that Bryan would be cleared by WWE to wrestle, but it was awesome when it happened. Trust me, AJ, none of us ever thought he was going to get cleared because WWE just pretty much went through hell and back again to try and keep him out of the ring. Styles went on to say that Bryan's return reminded him of Shawn Michaels' return and that he prayed for Bryan to not get hurt. That is, if you think about it, it has a little reminiscent of Shawn Michaels. Both of them were great in the ring at what they do. They both had severe career-threatening injuries. They both missed Shawn missed 4 years. Daniel Bryan has missed 3. They come back, and could we get a Daniel Bryan who's going to be here from, like Shawn Michaels came back in 2002 and retired at the beginning of 2011, wasn't it? 2010, wasn't it? It was one of those two. Could we see Daniel Bryan have an 8-9 year career in WWE still? I don't know. I'd say maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years. But yeah, I can see some of the similarities because they were two of the best in-ring workers in wrestling in WWE history. So there is some comparisons to what Shawn Michaels did, but of course their wrestling styles are different. They had 2 totally different injuries. Shawn Michaels, of course, could have been retired. He could have been wheelchair bound with that back injury if it would have got worse, especially since he got hurt at the Royal Rumble and continued to wrestle until, well, he didn't really wrestle anymore. He only had one other match or two after that, and of course had his match at WrestleMania, which wasn't just a squash match. They won a good 10-15 minutes, I'm pretty sure. Having to go through all the stuff that he did at WrestleMania with that back injury could have been worse than it probably was. So, yeah, I can see that. Current WWE announcer has some heat going his way for recent remarks on Saudi Arabia's on the Greatest Royal Rumble. The Wrestling Observer newsletter is reporting that the WWE announcer Corey Graves has some heat for the remarks he recently made about Saudi Arabia during and after the WWE Greatest Royal Rumble event. The Observer notes that the entire announce team of Graves, Cole, and Saxton seemed extremely uncomfortable and self-conscious of their announcing during the event. In addition, the remarks made on air during the event, Graves took to social media afterwards to post the following picture, which he's pretty much said, seemingly taking a shot Saudi Arabia and its non-female friendly culture. He had a one of those tall boy beers, and he posted something about no matter if you think that you're down or you think that if someone has it harder than you, at least our women have rights, and like be happy for what you have. The Observer notes that there are people backstage who understand where Graves is coming from, but that he should have made his comments privately and not publicly, and that he is a lot more replaceable than he thinks he is. Yeah, because the last thing that we need is for Corey Graves to get like the release from WWE because of comments he made on social media. It wouldn't put it past WWE to punish somebody for that. It's his opinion. Yes, with him being part of him being a public figure and being part of a publicly traded company who's trying to help this entire propaganda of helping the women in Saudi Arabia, probably not a good idea to come out on social media and make those remarks. WWE already got in trouble from the sports authority, the Saudi Sports Authority, or whatever it's called, for showing the best of both worlds video live to the audience. So yeah, that got WWE in trouble. That's one strike for WWE. Corey Graves is another strike. Do you really think WWE needs any more headaches coming out of this thing? A lot of people are already bashing WWE because they took money from a part of the world that doesn't allow women to pretty much do anything. So yeah, Corey Graves is going to have to take that heat and hope that it doesn't get nuclear to the point where they're going to be like, well, we're going to have to let you go, which I hope doesn't happen. And New Japan Pro Wrestling is disappointed with the first day ticket sales for their Cow Palace event. The Wrestling Observer newsletter is reporting that New Japan Pro Wrestling saw disappointing first day ticket sales for their July 7th event at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. The show was not an instant sellout, selling only 3,330, while New Japan sold out their second Long Beach show in an arena that seats 4,700. The transition to a 10,000-seat arena in a new market didn't go as smoothly. The report also notes that there was a bit of a fail with Ticketmaster not making the best seats available immediately to the first people who clicked on them, which likely hurt the sales numbers as well. There were around 1,000 seats not available because they were being held for the New Japan fan club members in Japan. Yeah, that could be a problem if you put out tickets. If you say, well, these tickets are on sales, and someone says, "Ooh, I want that ticket," and it's like, nope, sorry, you can't have that because it's reserved. It kind of detracts people who want to go to this event. Maybe they want to go to the event and the seat that they want to have is taken. So, and there are people out there. It's like I haven't been to the Cow Palace. I live in Ohio. That's in California. But they're like, just for example, Johnny over here goes to the Cow Palace events every once in a while, and he goes to the same seat every time. Now, the New Japan show comes up, and he wants to go to the New Japan show, and the seat he usually sits in, which is what he calls his lucky seat, is reserved for other people. He's like, I'm not going to the event unless I can get that seat. And trust me, that's just a little scenario of what could happen. And trust me, it does happen. There are people who go to events, and if it's in an arena that they go to multiple times for multiple events, and they go to the same seat every single time, if that seat's not open to them, they're not going to go to that channel. They're not going to go. Trust me, I've seen and heard it before that people are like, well, I would have went to that event, but my seat wasn't available, or I go to that section all the time and they were sold out. So you know what? Not worth it. Well, they'll probably sell out. It's just the fact that the 1,000 seats not available because they were being held for New Japan fan club members in Japan. That's not a good idea simply because you're in the United States and not in Japan. So I wouldn't I can understand why they want to reserve the fan club members, but you should probably have those seats in one section and that's it, not probably all over the place. 1,000 I think is a little much. I probably would have said maybe 200-300 seats. You gotta have more open for the fans who are going to buy immediately. And who's to say those 1,000 seats are going to be like sold on day one? The 1,000 seats reserved probably could sell last minute because you have them reserved for fan club members instead of, open to the public who are buying tickets day one. NXT star is out of action with a torn bicep. This one is not a good thing. This is not good for NXT. I mean, it is a name that who's just starting on in a singles push, and not good for them, even though I don't think he's going to go very far anyway on his own. Tino Sabatelli will be out of action for several months after suffering an injury at last Saturday's NXT Live event in Largo, Florida. According to F4W Online, Sabatelli tore his pec during his main event match against the Velveteen Dream. The injury occurred when Dream gave him a dropkick. Sabatelli immediately grabbed his chest, and they finished the match moments later with Dream hitting him with the purple rainmaker. Sabatelli has since undergone surgery for the injury, which will likely require a 6 to 9 month repercussion period, so he is out the remainder of the year. The injury could not have come at a worse time since he just started getting a purse by Triple H and NXT. The 34-year-old is out for the rest of the year. On last week's episode of NXT, as you saw, Sabatelli left tag team partner Ray Moss high and dry during the match against Heavy Machinery. So that's devastating news for Tito Sabatelli, who is 34 years old. This guy is not a spring chicken. He's 34. He's going to miss the rest of this year. He's going to be out, and you will not probably see him until after TakeOver Phoenix or Arizona, wherever they're going to be at, and for that. We probably won't see him until the aftermath of that. He might do some kind of running or something, who knows, but we will not see Tino Sabatelli, which, quite honestly, Tito Sabatelli on his own is just meh. It was going to be interesting to see where they went with him after he just split with Riddick Moss, but with him being out for pretty much the remainder of the year, sucks for Tino because pretty much NXT is like what the Attitude Era was for WWE. If you get hurt, minus Bobby Fish, who's in the Undisputed Era, and he's not going to be hurt. If you get hurt and you lose your spot because of injury, there's always going to be somebody who's underneath of you who is going to take that spot. Who's going to take that spot from Tito Sabatelli? I don't know. There is surely a lot of guys and girls in the back who aren't getting that spot yet. That this is going to be a blessing for them, because they get that time that Tino would have taken, and since he's gone now for 6 to 9 months, which I'm sure is going to be the 9 months, it's got to really suck for him. Like, he's 34 years old. This is probably going to be his last shot to make WWE's main roster with the Tino Sabatelli and this singles push, and him getting hurt now could just derail that, and he could probably end up being future endeavored. That is the sad truth. He is 34. He's not like a Velveteen Dream who is 20-some years old. This guy's 34, and he's been in NXT, not on TV, but he's been in the Performance Center for about 3 or 4 years. This injury, other than him just getting if he was like 22 years old and this injury happened, it'd be like, oh, he'll be back in 6 to 9 months. This could be something that derails Tino Sabatelli's career for WWE for good. That is the sad truth about that. He could be injured. He could get this injury, and the fact that he was just getting a singles push. This isn't like Drew McIntyre, who tore his pec, or not his pec, but his bicep, who was the NXT champion. It was going up to the main roster. This guy was just going to get his singles push, and now that's gone. What's going to happen with Tino Sabatelli when he comes back? Only time will tell. As I said at the beginning, Bayley vs. Ruby Riott has been announced for the WWE Backlash pre-show. So Bayley and Sasha Banks, the biggest feud that could have been for the Raw Women's Championship, has been put on hold to put the Riott Squad over. Why? What has the Riott Squad done for anything? I mean, it's kind of sad because Bayley vs. Ruby Riott is going to be on the pre-show of a pay-per-view. Whereas Sasha Banks versus Ruby Riott match was given away on free TV. Yeah, you can see where Bayley is up higher on the pecking order for women than Sasha Banks, and that's fucking sad. She's not that much higher, but she's higher up because a match between her and Ruby Riott will be on the pre-show, while Sasha Banks and Ruby Riott was on the kickoff was on Monday Night Raw. Yeah, see, you can see where Sasha Banks stands for WWE and where Bayley is just a little bit higher on the totem pole. Update on Daniel Bryan's WWE schedule moving forward. It appears as if Daniel Bryan will be working a full-time schedule, not the part-time schedule everyone thought he was going to get. There had been some speculation he would be working a part-time schedule following his return to in-ring competition. Bryan enlisted for all the upcoming SmackDown Live events, including the UK tour, which kicks off next week. The only SmackDown Live event that Bryan is not advertised for are the live events in Tokyo on June 29th and Taipei on July 1st. Okay, that's understandable because he probably doesn't want to. That's something that you don't have to be on every event. Quite honestly, even if you are full time, you don't have to be on every event. There is enough superstars on both shows because I'm pretty sure those shows might be especially in Tokyo and Taipei. I honestly don't think that's going to be a SmackDown show. That's probably going to be a super show for both Raw and SmackDown. So they don't need Daniel Bryan for those ones. Bryan is scheduled to face Big Cass at Backlash this Sunday, most irrelevant match on SmackDown. Make sure to check back when there's Sunday live event back. Yeah. So Daniel Bryan back to full time. Okay, that's fine. Of course, as we all know, Daniel Bryan has to take medical. He has to be given a concussion test, impact test, and be tested to see if he's going to be able to wrestle and after every match. So him working a full. I figured this year would be a part-time schedule. He wouldn't wrestle that much. He wouldn't be available that much just so they could make sure he's going to be okay. But then they just go playing out full-time schedule. It's okay, that's going to be interesting. I just hope he doesn't get hurt. You do notice when he does the running drop kicks into the corner, he actually lands himself on the rope so he could slide down and his head doesn't hit the floor, the mat. So he has changed his repertoire up a little bit, and I'm pretty sure the diving headbutt has been banned from his move list, which the diving headbutt should be banned from everybody's move list, just saying. Could Hulk Hogan be making a return to WWE in the future? The rumor of Hulk Hogan returning to WWE has been swirling for some time now, but TMZ Sports is reporting Hogan and WWE have been in contact, and the talks have been positive thanks to the Greatest Royal Rumble. Hogan was apparently one of the talents requested to appear at the event. Hogan did not make the trip, but it got the two sides talking for a potential reunion. The other two names, because obviously the prince or whoever is working with WWE from the Sports Authority or whatever the fuck they're called, who they also wanted the Ultimate Warrior and Yokozuna on this show. The fact that sumo wrestler Hiroka Tsumai or whatever his name was from the Greatest Royal Rumble match itself was in that match was to try and make up for them not being able to have Yokozuna because Yokozuna is passed on. So yes, the guy who's helping Vince McMahon run this thing is in the dark ages for wrestling as much as Vince McMahon, because two of the three guys he wanted to come be a part of the show are not part of this world, but not a part of the living anymore. Which it's really, is this guy even watch the product anymore? Hogan hasn't been in WWE for 3 years, and the other two have passed on. Ultimate Warrior a couple years ago, and Yokozuna since 2000 or 2001 or 2002. So yeah. TMZ was told WWE wants to bring him back and Hogan is ready, but they want to make sure it is done the right way and be sensitive to those who are offended by his past rant that initially cost him his WWE gig. Hogan hasn't appeared for WWE since being fired by the company in 2015, shortly before a tape containing his making racist remarks was made public. Hogan, which by the way, those tapes were of course illegally obtained by the company who released them, just saying, who was upset with his daughter's Brooks dating a black man, used the N-word several times in the tape and said, I guess we're all a little racist. In March, Hogan made an appearance at the HBO WWE Andre the Giant documentary premiere in Los Angeles. At the time, WWE wanted to make it clear Hogan was not in the fold by putting out the following statement. Hogan is an important part of the Andre the Giant's history. However, his appearance at tonight's HBO premiere of the documentary and his plans to help others learn from his mistake does not mean WWE is rehiring him. Hogan is not scheduled to be at any upcoming WWE events. WWE has been paying close attention to how Hogan's speech went the other day after he was inducted into the Boys and Girls Club's Hall of Fame. He mentioned wanting to help educate kids on not to use language like he did, which received an ovation from the crowd. WWE does issue a statement on this recent rumors. WWE applauds the work Hulk Hogan is doing the Boys and Girls Club of America to turn what was a negative into a positive by helping young people learn from his mistakes. While he has taken many steps to the right direction since we parted ways, Hogan is not currently under contract by WWE. Well, do I want to see Hogan come back to WWE? I could care less. I could honestly care less. I honestly don't care about Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is like a nostalgia trip that I honestly don't want to hear from anymore. It's just one of those things that he's not going to move the needle. You're not going to get the big, huge pops anymore. People are more like the people who would love to see Hulk Hogan are mostly either 6 feet under or don't watch wrestling anymore. So majority of those people would pop either 6 feet under, don't watch wrestling anymore, or don't even care. So would I care to see Hulk Hogan back? No. I didn't care when he came back after he left Impact Wrestling a couple years ago. I did not care. I honestly didn't care when he got fired. It was like, who cares? It is what it is. Terry Bollea is just one of those guys that I don't care about anymore. It's just all you have to say about that. So Hulk Hogan he's not going to do anything for me. Now, there might be a couple people out there who go, oh my God, I want Hogan back. And then, of course, there's going to be a lot of people who's like, he should never come back. I honestly do not care. But if WWE brings him back, it is what it is. That means they can start putting more Hogan stuff on there. When Hogan got fired from WWE, they were starting to put his cartoon from the 80s on there, the Hogan Rock and Roll, and whatever that show was. They had like the first episode up, then they had to fire him and they took it off. So if they bring Hogan back, then of course they're like, oh, we have free reign to put this on now. So we'll just have to wait and see. I don't care. Let me know in the comment section below if you care. I honestly don't. And to finish this up, is Roman Reigns still the guy in WWE? Brad Shepard of BodySlam.net revealed in the backstage in WWE podcast that Vince McMahon still hasn't soured on Roman Reigns as the guy, despite having him lose back-to-back matches to Brock Lesnar. And despite Braun Strowman's growing fan base and Vince's personal interest in him, it would seem that WWE is still functioning in the hope of getting Roman Reigns over as the main guy one day. Vince, come here. Right here. Just come here. Put your ear to the speaker. Roman Reigns is a fucking failure. Roman Reigns will never get over. Roman Reigns is not, nor will he ever be accepted as the guy by the fans. You have buried this guy 6 feet under, and you are making this guy as bad as Bray Wyatt has been until Matt Hardy came in and saved his fucking career. This guy will never be loved by the fans. You might as well just turn him heel or just give up on Roman Reigns and go with Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman feels organic. The guy got over on his own and wasn't punished for it, which is a surprise. If WWE would actually give Braun Strowman as much love and care as they have to Roman Reigns with the pushing him, he should be Universal Champion. Braun Strowman won the 50-man Greatest Royal Rumble, which as of this Monday, it obviously was not, it meant nothing. He comes out and they have him help Roman Reigns fend off Jinder Mahal and Sami Owens. Why? Braun Strowman should have came out and was like, listen, I just won the biggest Royal Rumble ever. I eliminated 13 guys. 13 guys and 13 plus got these hands. I want Brock Lesnar, and I want him now. But no, he comes out and becomes a tag team, and him and Bobby Lashley are a tag team. Is this the best you have for him? But no, you got Roman Reigns coming out there, bitching, moaning, whining, complaining because he can't get his way. He wants to be Universal Champion, which everybody should be in that want to be Universal Champion in the back. And he can't get the job done. Roman Reigns is Brock Lesnar's bitch. Yes, he is a big dog. He is a big dog, as in he is a big bitch. He is Brock Lesnar's bitch. And he will never get over. Brock Lesnar made Roman Reigns his neutered bitch. The Roman experiment should be over. The Roman experiment should be dead. There is no reason to continue to go and try and put Roman Reigns over. No reason whatsoever. Well, Vince McMahon has to go. WWE wants to operate, as long as WWE operates as trying to get Roman Reigns over to be the guy, WWE is going to suffer forever and ever. There is nothing you can say, nothing you can do to change Vince McMahon's mind. Until Vince McMahon gets it through his thick skull that Roman Reigns is not the guy, and that Roman Reigns is not going to be the guy. There is nothing that this company will never get better until you get the side that Vince McMahon goes, well, we tried. We've tried for 4 fucking years. What is it going to be? Another year? Another year of shoving Roman Reigns down our throat? Having him trying to get sympathy from the fans? Those fans don't give a fuck about Roman, except for those fucking dumbasses who just suck his cock all day, sitting there putting their names as Roman Reigns, or Justice for Roman, or Roman is the best, Roman is my God, putting pictures of themselves as Roman Reigns. Those are these stupid-ass fans who don't know any better. Those are the fans who sit there and let Vince McMahon tell them what to say, tell them who to like, tell them who to care about, tell them this, tell them that, instead of actually thinking for themselves. This is just pathetic, though. John Cena didn't take this much to get over. You know what happened? I'll show you exactly why Roman Reigns won't get over and why everyone else is getting who got in this spot was over. Roman Reigns has been a babyface since 2000, since the Shield broke up. He has been the babyface that they tried to push. Why isn't he over? Because they're doing the one thing that the other guys actually did. John Cena. John Cena, everyone wants that heel turn for John Cena, but it isn't happening. Why? Because he already had his. John Cena in 2002, 2003 was a fucking heel. He was a fantastic heel. He cut some of the best goddamn promos of his fucking life as that rapping heel. But he was a heel that eventually got over, so they were like, you know what? We got to turn this guy babyface. The Rock, who shared the spotlight with Stone Cold. Stone Cold was the guy, but it was like Stone Cold was 1, Rock was 1A, 1B. The Rock was booed, just like Roman Reigns is now, as Rocky Maivia. Die, Rocky, die. Rocky sucks. What did they do? They turned him heel. They turned him heel, had him join the Nation, and when eventually he turned babyface, he was loved by the fans. Then, of course, he turned heel. He flip-flopped more than any of the other guys who was at the top of the card as one of the guys who was a guy. Because yes, the Rock was the guy in '99 to 2000 while the babyface guy while Stone Cold was gone. But Stone Cold became became the most over guy until now Daniel Bryan. Which still Stone Cold's more over than Daniel Bryan, but still, you know. He was a heel when he started. He became the anti-authority because fans gravitated to him because he was believable. That's another thing. We'll get to that in a second. Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan started his career in the WWF as a heel. He went to the AWA after a couple movies, and they built him up as a babyface. He came to WWE. He overstayed his welcome as a babyface. He went to WCW and said babyface. What happened? He turned heel. He turned heel and resurrected his fucking career that was on life support. And what happened? He came back to WWF in 2002. He was supposed to be a heel. We get to WrestleMania 17, and what happens? WrestleMania 18, not 17, 18. We get to WrestleMania 18. What happens? The fans were pro Hogan, and Hogan became a babyface. Bret Hart started off his career as a heel. As a tag team, he transitioned into a babyface. When we came down towards the end of his WWF career, he was a heel in the United States. He was a babyface in Canada. The guy was over. But he was getting the correct reaction wherever the hell he was at. Roman Reigns, they went to Saudi Arabia. Guess what? Kids cheered, everybody else booed. Roman Reigns should have turned heel after he won the WWE Championship. And after WrestleMania 32. He should have turned heel, had Triple H come out the next night, shake Roman Reigns' hand, and that was that. And just join the fold. Become the heel. Have Seth Rollins come back when he was done with his injury. And go up against a heel Roman Reigns. Of course, what happened? Roman Reigns ended up getting that fucking that violation of steroids or whatever the fuck they want to call it, and he hasn't recovered. Suffering succotash and stupid shit like that. Bad booking. Vince McMahon, if this is how you want to push somebody to be the guy, you are doing it so wrong. Roman Reigns will never, ever, and I mean this wholeheartedly, will never be ever respected by the fans. He is damaged goods. His experiment, like, you should not be. Here's the thing. If you're trying for 4 fucking years to get somebody over in the wrestling business, they're not the guy. If you have to sacrifice match after match, event after event to get this guy over, he's not the guy. You could have Braun Strowman go and win the Universal Championship at Money in the Bank or at SummerSlam, whichever one you want to go with. And Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman would be cheered beyond belief, while Roman Reigns is booed and is in the back of the line. Roman Reigns should be nowhere near the Universal Championship picture for the rest of the year. He's had 2 title matches this year. He lost at SummerSlam last year. There is no reason whatsoever for him to get another championship spot. He was supposed to lose. They botched the ending. Brock Lesnar was supposed to be the first one to come out of the cage and actually be on the floor first, not on the match, but on the floor. And that would have been like, if that actually happened, then Roman Reigns would have had nothing to bitch about the next night on Monday night. But WWE, it's time. It's time to go with somebody else. Braun Strowman is your guy for now. Give him the championship at Money in the Bank so you can break CM Punk's record, even though it's not a record. I don't give a fuck, and that's something else. Everyone's making a big deal that Brock Lesnar is about to surpass CM Punk's record of 430-some days as champion when it's 2 different titles. This is just like the New Day saying they're the longest reigning world tag team champions. Every time the New Day come out and say, when Xavier Woods says the WWE World Tag Team Champions, I want to punch Xavier Woods in the face, because that is not the World Tag Team titles. Those titles were retired in 2010, motherfucker. You have been 2-time SmackDown Tag Team Champions and like 2-time Raw Tag Team Champions. Different titles. WWE just needs to. Here's the thing. WrestleMania ended, and it's supposed to be the reset. You start over. It's your new year. WWE should have actually literally did that. Start from scratch. Roman Reigns is done. Roman Reigns needs to be rebuilt and whatever. He needs to go away for a while. Roman Reigns, honestly, in my opinion, they need to have some kind of like injury angle. Let this guy have like 2 months vacation. Get him out of the light of WWE, out of WWE fans, like, so we don't see him. Have him like gone for a while, come back with this cocky attitude. I saw a video on YouTube a couple weeks ago of Roman Reigns in a suit, tie, watch on his hand, cell phone in his hand, watch on his wrist, cell phone in his hand, acting like a selfish, cocky prick, saying, "This is my time." It's that's the Roman Reigns we need to see, not the Roman Reigns we see now. He needs to come out like after his 2 months away. He's going to be out for like 2 months. Give him 2 months off. Don't have him come back until about Survivor Series. Have this guy come back. Not Survivor Series, SummerSlam. Have this guy come back. Suits, tie, expensive Rolex watch, expensive cell phone in his pocket or something. And have this guy come out and be like, listen, I'm done giving a fuck about these fans. I'm here for myself. Fuck Vince McMahon. I've done everything for this company. I've told the company alive for the last 4.5 years. And I've got no respect from anybody, then fine. I'm going to do things for myself. This is my time. I don't give a fuck about your time. You're going to make time for me, and cut the biggest heel promo ever. Until they do something like that, Roman Reigns is going to go nowhere. It's going to be the same old thing every time. And then you have guys like Edge and Christian saying some people are booing because it's the cool thing to do. This section, it's like this section's over here's booing, so this section over here's gonna boo, and this section here over here's gonna boo. That's fucking stupid. No, everybody's gonna boo Roman Reigns. There might be some towns where you get some cheers because they don't know any better, but this is not gonna work. You're never going to get Roman over as he is right now. Vince McMahon, please just let it go. You've tried. and you've tried. You've failed before on people. Why are you not willing to fail on Roman Reigns? I don't understand it. Roman Reigns is a failure. Roman Reigns will always be a failure as long as WWE keeps doing what they're doing with him. The only thing that I think could salvage him now is he gets taken out. Like, have somebody take him out, and he's gone for like 2 or 3 months. Hold him off until after Extreme Rules. The night after Extreme Rules, he has new music, new attitude, new look. You could cut his hair if you want to. Cut that long hair, have him have short hair, suit, tie, Rolex watch, expensive phone. Have him being interviewed in the back, phone rings, he's talking this thing, and he just walks off after, starting to cut a shitty heel promo. Will people love him? Don't know. He needs to also change up his repertoire. I watched a match, of course, also on the WWE Network. It's in the Hidden Gems. It's him, Roman Reigns. It's him as Lakile, or whatever the fuck his Florida Championship Wrestling name was, versus Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Back when him and Dean and Seth all wore the short shorts or the underwear-looking tights and knee pads. And he actually wrestled way different back then than he does now. The Superman punch wasn't his thing. He did not use the spear. It was a totally different Lakile or whatever the fuck his name was. This guy needs to change. Change of attitude, change of look, change of music. And see what happens. Going down this road is not going to go anywhere. Change Roman Reigns. Take him off TV for about 2 months, maybe 3. Till SummerSlam. I would say, June, July. Have him be taken out at Backlash by Samoa Joe. Have Samoa Joe beat him down so badly that he's not seen till we get closer to SummerSlam. The fans won't see him, and it will be great. It would be great to see Roman Reigns gone for a while, not just have the injury angle happen, have him beaten down, bloodied, and have Samoa Joe break a limb. Samoa Joe broke his arm. He's out. You won't see him again for about 2 to 3 months. He comes back after Extreme Rules. Him and Samoa Joe can't scuffle anymore, but he comes out, suit, tie, Rolex watch, phone, and that's it. He comes out with a new attitude, not giving it. It's all about him. Fuck Vince McMahon. Fuck the WWE. I'm in it for myself. Nobody cares a fuck about me. Fuck these fans. I don't care anymore. That's the Roman we need. Roman Reigns isn't Anawale. Anawales are not built to be baby faces. Other than The Rock and Jimmy Snuka and maybe Peter Maivia, baby faces are not, and Rikishi, I guess, too. Look at the Wild Samoans. Look at the Head Shrinkers, which was Rikishi and his, and I think his cousin or his brother. Look at the 3-Minute Warning. Look at Umaga. Those are all big-time heels. Give Roman Reigns a heel persona. Maybe the fans will latch onto him, and maybe eventually the fans will come around. But keep doing the same thing over and over and rinsing and repeating never works. It's time for a change, Vince. It's time for a change. That is going to be UnScripted for this week. My name is The Franz. Find me on Twitter at The Franz. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFranz08. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on everything we talked about today. What are your thoughts on Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe going against AJ Styles, and Hulk Hogan? Do you care if he comes back or not? What about Jeff Hardy and his nice little accomplishment? Jason Jordan coming back. Who do you want to see him feud with, or do you want to see him at all? Let me know below, and I will see you guys here next week for UnScripted. Of course, we do have Backlash tomorrow. I will be here exactly for that as soon as it's over with. Until then, my name is The Franz. I will see you guys tomorrow for Backlash, Monday for Raw, SmackDown Live on Tuesday, and Wednesday for NXT. And then we'll be back here for next week's UnScripted as well. Till then, I'm out of here.